Welcome everybody back to my channel. Today we'll be looking at a in-depth guide on the giant mole. This boss is currently a free-to-play boss. I really don't recommend farming it at all, unless you're free-to-play, obviously. You don't have access to bossing. There also is another free-to-play boss called King Black Dragon. KBD, yeah, I know how to speak. Anyways, I don't recommend farming them. If you were going to farm them, I'd recommend farming KBD. He's much more valuable than the giant mole. We'll go ahead and take a look at the what is recommended for this boss. If we go over to beasts, find the giant mole. So this is what he can drop. The most valuable item in this list, of course, is the Dragon 2H sword. That comes around about 150k. Not really a good boss. Again, welcome back if you have never seen my videos before. I try to do guides on this channel ranging from any game you guys suggest. Currently I'm doing a series on Ark, ranking every dinosaur in the game from A to Z and giving my best opinion on them. But I wanted to switch things up a bit for a game that I really love, RuneScape. I've been playing this game for so long, and I've probably been playing it for around 10 years now, which is kind of insane to think about. Maybe in 11 or 12 years, I'm not sure. But today we'll be looking at the giant mole. Recommended combat level 50. Recommended group size is 1. Not quite as fluffy as you might imagine. The giant mole uses surrounding to put up a fight against anything you throw at it. So in this guide I will be using melee. You can use any combat style you want. I heard range is a good one, and magic as well I think are currently better, but I'm just going to show what I think is the hardest class to use it with. So I'll go ahead and switch our ability bar to my 2H sword abilities. So this is what I'm running. You can see here I'm using Quake with Hurricane and the ultimate. You don't always have to use the ultimate. I highly don't always suggest it, but since this is going to be an ongoing battle, we won't really have a break from fighting, I always recommend packing up a ultimate ability. I'm running Catfish, which I think is insane. Okay, so you have Sharks, so I think that heal you 2,000, which they tend to be expensive. Cooked Sharks I think are around 560 on the GE current date. Today is the April 21st of 2019. But Catfish are 80 GP each for 1,500 food. To get the max amount of heals out of a food, you can see the level down there says 60. I'm currently 79 constitution, so I get the full health benefit. These are the stats I'm using, so I'm using 75 attack, 75 strength, 80 defense, and I'm also going to use some protection from melee, magic, and range during this attack, so I have at least 54 prayer. So to get here, it's pretty simple. Go to the Falador, teleport, lodestone. Oh, I didn't show you the gear I was wearing. I'm using full tank gear. You don't have to use, it's highly recommended that you use power gear for this, but I'm only using, currently I'm only, on this character only, I'm only using smithing gear. This is tier 80 plus 4 smithing gear. Has pretty good stats in my opinion for a tank gear, so it's pretty decent. I'm using also a Bandos God Sword. I currently don't have 80 attack, so I can't use the Bane 2H sword, but it is considerably better, but it does degrade. All the gear above level 60 or 70 to onward does degrade. The armor does degrade, and so does the weapons, but they last for a considerable amount of time. I'm also running the Amulet of Glory with the Ring of Wealth. I highly recommend using a Ring of Wealth when bossing, because it will also increase your loot rewards drops from the loot rework. So we'll go ahead and go into this boss. You can either create an instance. It doesn't have any requirements, and so basically you can go hard mode or practice mode. There might be better loot drops in hard mode, but I honestly, you can just do the elite dungeon or God Wars, and you make far more money. So what you can do join, start, rejoin. So let's just start one. In this first phase, it comes out of the ground. It's just this normal attacking phase. I think it does melee damage. So go ahead and drink some pots. wait for it to spawn. It takes a couple seconds to spawn. So it has 78,000 HP, which isn't a lot. I mean, it's a lot, but it's rank 50, like you need combat gear 50 for it. So it doesn't really hit that hard. It has a combat level of 230. So we'll just go ahead and protect from melee and go ahead and fight this guy. First phase, like I said, doesn't have any abilities. It doesn't do anything to you. And to be honest, if you have lower stats, I honestly don't think this guy is like worth farming. I think he's harder than KBD, in my opinion, when it comes to lower level, like lower end bosses for early players. You're gonna want to, the reason I'm equipping Quake and Hurricane is this room right here. She summons little minions to attack you, little moles, little babies, and they do attack you, and they can do some damage for you. That's why I'm using AoE, so I hit all of them around me. And this is that room. It's the it's the northwest corner of the room. And when she digs down, when she do enough damage, she will dig down and go to the next room. You can see what area where she's going by looking at the ground. Like I said, the dirt was heading towards this direction, so she is in the southwest now. In this phase, I'm pretty sure she digs in the ground and digs up, and a bunch of rubble of rocks come up. If you stand in that rocks, you take a lot of damage. I will go ahead and demonstrate it here. If you stand in here, you will take 200 damage every so often, and it can rack up to a lot of damage. And you can't protect from it, sadly, which is kind of annoying. So she went in this direction. I wouldn't classify these as phases. I would just classify them as rooms that she has different abilities on. So in this room, there's no really easy way to avoid this. You just have to deal with it. It's the most dangerous room in my opinion. Things do fall from the sky. Rubble falls from the sky, and it can do a lot of damage for you. I didn't actually check if it is a melee damage, but we can go ahead and see here. I actually don't think it'll hit me. We can check in the final boss room. Oh no, so you can't protect from this, sadly. I always recommend, just if you're taking a lot of damage, always use protect from melee. If you've seen my last video about the Barrows brothers, I literally got a unique drop on the first fight in that video, which is kind of insane. This room specifically, you can stun her for some reason. I don't know how that's a phase, but you can stun her and then do more damage to her. I really don't see a point for that, and she doesn't do a lot of damage in that room. This room, the final room, where she goes to the center, she has all the abilities unlocked, so she'll dig in the ground, bring up rubble, she'll knock rocks from the sky, she'll call moles, you can stun her. Yeah, so this is basically her last stand. And a bad thing that could happen, if you're stuck in that animation where you can't move when she brings rubble from the sky, and she digs, it can do a lot of damage. She can be stunned. So yeah, like I said, this boss isn't really recommended to farm. If you ask any RuneScape player, they don't ever farm this boss. And we'll go ahead and see the loot right here. That's all the really good loot. There's nothing else left in there. So we got moleskins, which I think is around 4,000 GP. Wow, they used to be worth a lot more back in the day, so people must have farmed the heck out of this thing. Mole claws. Wow. And then the ironstone spirit, which isn't really that much GP. We'll go ahead and fight him one more time just to see. It's not really a boss you have to worry about. You can do it in Ruin. That's how easy this boss is. You can probably do it in Blue Dragon Hide armor and Mystic armor if you really want to. You can probably just do it in Spider robes. So she's going in this room over here. Again, if you had 99 stats in combat, you could easily melt this boss. But again, you don't see a lot of people fighting this boss. no RuneScape player recommends it unless there's one considering thing that if you want to farm this boss is if you're going for the boss pet. That's the only reason you would farm this boss, in my opinion. Because I've probably killed this thing, like with the Bear Brothers, I probably killed it a couple thousand times, and I got the pet on my main, and I probably only got like maybe like a full inventory's worth of Dragon 2H swords. It's honestly not worth it. Again, I'm not even protecting from melee in this fight. I have a couple of food. Like I say, I have tier 80. I'm decent level. I'm 100 combat, and this guy still considerably does a good amount of damage for me. It's probably because I don't avoid attacks from it like that. I just stand and take it. But yeah, if you're serious about farming this boss, you got a decent setup with potions and food, and you're really consistent about this and always making sure you don't get hit by certain things, you could definitely like almost AFK this boss, but you'd have to always change rooms. What that guy just hit me for? I think he hit me for a lot of damage. So this is the final phase. Not gonna be difficult at all. Also have Cleave on as well. That also is an AoE. It hits 3 targets in front of you. I thought that was going to be a big finisher. There we go. Bit more money this time. Got Grimmy Irit. Moleskin, and Claw. So 2 battles. This is roughly how much money we got. So 34k. I mean, I took less damage from Bears Brothers than this boss, and every time I usually run Bears Brothers, I get about 100,000 GP, and that takes me about the same amount of time. So, like I said, I wouldn't recommend this boss at all. Like if you maybe you just want to kill it just for the max cape, just do that, or the completion escape, just do that. I don't ever recommend fighting this boss. Yeah, so that has been the Giant Mole in-depth guide. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned something. Learned that it's not a boss. Maybe they should change its loot pool or something, because it needs a rework. It honestly does. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Please comment, rate, and subscribe. And yeah, if you liked this video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, then go ahead and leave a dislike. I really like feedback in any way, shape, or form. If there's anything you guys want me to review on this game, maybe hop on my main, do videos maybe with Solak or something, just let me know and I'll go ahead and do it. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.